We're in London playing for the North America Challenger Series final.
I played on land before, but nothing ever this big.
I'm really excited. I think it's going to be really good.
The biggest crowd I've played in front of is only a couple hundred people. This is obviously a lot bigger. We're the underdog.
They have famous players.
My team, they've all been on the stage many times before.
I don't want to overplay it too much, but we have a lot of LCS experience on our team.
They may have been in the LCS before, but they're not in the LCS anymore.
I feel like they work as a team really well.
I think we're a lot more solid and a lot more used to playing together.
Being the first seeded team in the next Challenger Series, that's really big.
For us to win shows that we're the most dominant team in the Challenger scene.
We know the taste of LCS, so we want it back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're broadcasting to you live from the SSE Arena, not SSS, SSE Arena in Wembley for the second day of our London Roadshow. I'm Joe Miller and I'm joined by Martin DeFisciolinger for this final day of what is a very special weekend.
Yeah, yesterday we had several LTS thrillers for the fans here in London, and of course we also crowned a Series 1 champion for the European Challenger League as H2 Gaming. They took down the Ninjas in pajamas. Today we have another Challenger title fight, thanks in part to our friends at Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that's right. We're kicking off today's excitement with a battle for first in the North American Challenger Series in a best-of-3 game between Team Coast and Team LoLPro. And, of course, after the Challenger Finals, today's LCS matches will begin with Roccat taking on Gambit Gaming, followed by SK Gaming taking on the Super Hot Crew.
Then Fnatic will face Millennium, and we'll end the day with Alliance taking on the Copenhagen Wolves.
But first, let's quickly recap how Team Coast and Team LoLPro made it to the finals here in London. As the number 3 seed to lead off the tournament, Team Coast went 4-1 overall. Their only loss, actually, was to Curse Academy in the semi-finals.
And as the 4th seed, Team LoLPro has yet to lose as they went undefeated with a perfect 6-0 record. They did not pre-qualify for the Summer 1 bracket, so they did have to play 2 elimination games before making it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, Curse Academy won the battle for 3rd place on Thursday, so they'll automatically be entered into the Series 2 quarterfinals.
Meanwhile, their opponents, Frank Fan Gaming and the rest of the Challenger teams must now re-qualify and play through 2 elimination rounds to return for Summer 2.
And in the Challenger Series, when you win, you're rewarded with points. Everyone loves points. And the teams with the most at the end of the Summer Series 2 will get a chance to compete for an LCS spot. So these scores pretty crucial.
Yeah, and Team Coast and Team LoLPro are leading the pack with at least 7 points so far. But whoever wins today's match will close out Series 1 with a total of 9 points.
Yeah, Curse Academy has 5 points for their victory in the 3rd place match. Frank Fan Gaming is in 4th with 4, and Area of Effect, Cloud9 Tempest, Team Green Forest and XDG all ended the tournament with just a single point. And remember, of course, you can find all the stats for the Challenger Series, as well as the LCS information and schedules, VODs, recaps, and much more over at lolesports.com. You'll also be able to let us know which team you think is going to win each of today's games.
Just click on schedule and give a thumbs up to your choice, and we'll, of course, check in before the games to see who you actually picked.
And that brings us to our first game in the North American Challenger Series finals with LoLPro taking on Team Curse. On the blue side are Team Curse, who are looking to bounce back into the LCS as quickly as possible. Their quarterfinals started nicely as they recorded a 2-0 win over Team Green Forest before battling past Curse Academy to seal their spot here at Wembley Arena. So let's take a peek at their roster. Starting in the top lane with Rooks, a player with a whole heap of experience, best known, of course, for his time on Curse Gaming. The jungler for the team is a player that some here in Europe may be familiar with. Santorin played for Cloud9 Eclipse in the promotion game against Millennium last season and has since moved to the US to pursue that pro career.
And the mid laner is another player who featured briefly in the LCS. Golden Blue was brought into the Dignitas team at the end of this year's spring split to replace Skara, but he was not kept on at the end of the split. The AD carry is Mash, or Don't Mash Me, as most people would probably know him. He's the most experienced man on the team, as he played in the LCS with the original Coast lineup. He's now back on Team Coast as a key player and a person to really look out for. Sheep is the support for Coast, and he's also featured in the LCS as he stepped in at the end of the spring split for XTG, but he was unable, of course, to stop him from actually getting relegated.
Now, and on the red side is Team LoLPro, who have yet to drop a single game on their way to today's finals after taking down Area of Effect and Frank Fan Gaming with clean 2-0 sweeps. So let's take a look at the players that will play against Coast today. First up in the top lane is Haunter. While he's fairly fresh into the top level of competitive league, he's proven that he can hold his own against some of the superstar players in the challenger scene. The jungler of LoLPro is, of course, Heaventime. Born and raised in Korea, Heaventime actually moved to Canada and managed to get himself noticed in solo queue. He was then brought into the old FXO team, but has made strides and is currently a force to be reckoned with in the challenger scene.
Yeah, and their mid laner is Lord. His Syndra play in the quarterfinal against Team Green Forest earned him bans in the semifinals and will definitely be one of the contested picks, or maybe a ban, in today's final here. Hoodstomp, he's possibly the most known player on the team after his time on CLG Black. He's also known as a very inconsistent AD carry. He can have perfect games where he carries the team, but he can also be punished and just completely shut down early on. And finally, the support, it is Low. He's the shot caller of the team, and according to him, then LoLPro is a team that relies on their shot calling to win games, not just individual talent. And he has a wealth of experience playing for a lot of teams over the years.
So while Hoodstomp might be the most well-known player on LoLPro, I'm really looking forward to see what Lord can do in the mid lane.
I agree, Joe, 100%. Lord has looked very, very good in the Challenger Series, and it's a player LoLPro can count on to always do well in the laning phase. And he's shown great mechanics and can both play assassins, we talked about the Syndra, and also he can play the standard mid laners like Nidalee and Orianna, of course.
So as we get to the game, let's check your predictions. According to LOLesports.com, you've picked LoLPro to win this series by 62%.
A little bit surprised. I actually figured Coast would be the favorite here with so many known players and former LCS players on the same team. But of course, they're still fairly new. They had to play with different people through the Challenger Series here because of the rules, and had to use with Fujin, even at MASH actually in the jungle for a few games here. Yeah. So still some synergy probably to be built for Coast.
And that's the interesting thing about this game, that, you know, if you look back to yesterday's European Challenger finals, everyone was like, ninjas in pajamas are the team for this one. They ended up losing 2-0. I'm expecting that the North American Challenger final actually is going to be a real close game.
I agree. Kerx, actually, the coach from Coast, said I believe it was to Shox actually, that he thinks LoLPro is a team who's really, really good at playing the map. Like, again, the shot calling, Low said himself, you know, we're a team, we build around the shot calling, we need to do good rotations and therefore win games. He said, you know, they're so good at this, which means it's very hard to go in with a plan and say, how are we going to shut these rotations down here? Are they going to go for some early lane bullies and just try and win early game and snowball from the side of Coast? Or will they focus more late game? I mean, it can be very hard to actually go into a game when you are against a team who's so good at moving around the map. So I definitely think it could be 2-1 to either side.
And we can talk about picks and bans here, and one thing that really stood out to us, of course, is the Syndra in the mid lane. That's surely a ban in this game.
I would think so, unless Coast feel like they have a counter pick ready. I mean, we saw Curb yesterday in Syndra. It didn't actually work because he didn't get any pressure in the mid lane, and once he got to team fights, Rocket was just waiting around for him to make a wrong move. Boom, caught him, and he died instantly. So maybe they want to leave it open, build something around it, and just try and kill him every single time.
So what else do we expect from this game? We're going to be moving into picks and bans here in just a little second. 62% of you thinking that LoLPro are going to win this game. We don't even really need to dwell on it because we're going into picks and bans right now for the first game. Of course, don't forget, guys, this is a best of 3, so little bit of time if things go wrong in game number 1 to change things around, but we can see the first ban's coming out here. Kayle, the first ban actually out there for Coast.
So Kayle basically is just a champion at the moment where a lot of teams think she's just so strong. She can play multiple roles and you just have to ban her away. Bit surprised Coast is actually doing it because they are first picked. They could have first picked it. Nope. Decide to simply ban away. Don't want to risk Haunter or Lot to play it in the mid lane.
So bans actually coming really fast in this one. Kog'Maw banned out as well by Coast along with Lucian. So focusing really heavily on the AD carries there for Hoodstomp. On the other side, Twisted Fate taken away. Switch and Yasuo, and that left Jax open, and that was first picked here by Coast.
And Rox is a carry top laner. He's not a supportive top laner here. He loves to play split pushing champions where he gets ahead early on in the laning phase and just becomes this split pushing monster which you can never one-on-one. Therefore, you have to send multiple members up to this top lane to try and shut him down, and Coast can then capitalize elsewhere on the map here. So I like the first pick up for Coast, and very clear they want Rox on something where he can split push and carry.
So on the other side for LoL Pro, Heaven Time hovering over good old Sejuani there, which is actually his favourite champion, and one champion that he pretty much got known for when he was playing in solo queue. Not going to be the pick for them though. We see them switching over to a definitely more standard jungler in the form of Lee Sin, and also taking Nidalee here in their first round of picks.
So Nidalee here explains the Yasuo ban from them because they don't want to be counterpicked. Even Twisted Fate is actually considered a counterpick to Nidalee, so they banned the two counterpicks, simply banned them away and just early pick Nidalee. They feel like they can blind pick it now, and we need to see if Team Coast want to respond with maybe a LeBlanc, maybe some other assassin here to try and shut down the Nidalee in the laning phase.
So on the other side then, with those two AD carry bans, taking away Kog'Maw, taking away Lucian, of course Switch was taken away by LoL Pro as well. Corki locked in here for Coast, along with Elise.
So I feel like Coast is definitely getting some good value out of the bans here because they hit so many AD carries, and Corki is considered one of the better AD carries at the moment. We always talk about how he's so good in the early mid game, but once you hit the real late game point, he starts falling off. But that's where you have Jax who just starts shining, so therefore you can balance it out. So I like the start from Coast here, and I feel like even though they didn't get Lee Sin for Centaurin, Elise is still a very, very strong pick.
So on the other side then, Graves taken here for Hood Stomp, locking in his own champion there with Graves, and on the top lane we will be seeing Shyvana there for LoL Pro. So already locking in pretty quickly as well. It seems like both of these teams pretty much have everything going to plan. Coast in particular locking in very, very quickly here, taking the Ziggs for the mid lane there for Golden Glue, and also Thresh for Sheep.
And Golden Glue was very strong on the Ziggs against Curse Academy in the semifinals. So actually banned away in the second game because he did so well in the first game. Now he locks it in. It's a fantastic lane for him against Nidalee. She's so passive, she won't be able to do anything to you. You can just push the lane down over and over. And here's the issue for LoL Pro. Graves and Nidalee, normally you don't want to pick these two together because first of all, Nidalee, she wants a long-range AD carry so they can start sieging up towers here. Okay, Graves, he can dash away at least, but his wave clear is not ideal. His box shot, he needs to get very close, and it's hard for him to instant clear the wave or clear the wave fast enough. So now LoL Pro is actually missing a lot of wave clear, and when you're against a Ziggs on the side of Coast and a Corki who's just going to poke you and siege down this tower early on, it means Team Coast will have the option early on to group up in this mid lane and just start pushing up and try and take a tower, maybe even going further in if they manage to get the first one down.
And later on as well, I mean, with the Nidalee in there, as you said, Graves very short range. How are you going to defend from any potential sieges, especially if you fall behind to this Curse team? Morgana, of course, was the final pick, the support choice here for LoL Pro as well. So looking, I have to say, pretty strong for Curse. Coast.
Coast, yeah. Coast will look very, very strong. I mean, again, just look at the lanes here. Jax does well against Shyvana in lane. Ziggs, of course, is going to destroy Nidalee in this lane here. Corgi is a very strong laner himself. And, of course, you got Elise, strong early game jungler here. So, overall, Coast looking strong in the early game, but also scales well into late game. It's only Corgi who's going to fall off. The rest are very, very strong picks in late game here for Coast. So, definitely looking very good for them.
So now that the lineups are locked in, you guys still think that LoL Pro are going to win this one? Tell us who you think has the advantage by tweeting hashtag CST win or hashtag pro win to @LOL Esports, and we'll check the results as we get into the game. I have to say, looking at the Coast lineup, if they start to pull ahead in this one, it's going to be very, very hard for LoL Pro.
It's going to be very easy for Coast to group up and just poke down these towers here. Of course, if they get a spear in the head, they have to back away a little bit, but still, they should be able to group up as a team, or keep Jax, of course, split pushing, and 4 members go together, push down some towers here. We have to say, though, when there's an Nidalee, everything can happen here. If she gets fed early on, 1 spear, 2 spears, and the game is over.
Well, we're going to find out because we are headed into the game here. It's our first match of the best of 3 for the North American Challenger Series between Coast and LoL Pro. Find out which of these teams is going to get off to that dream start in a best of 3 matchup. We'll have to figure things out and see whether anything's going to happen here as well at level 1.
And we do see again Good thing about Elise is that you can start with a pink ward early. You only need 2 health potions. You don't take too much damage because your spiderlings are going to tank most of the camps in the jungle here. So Santorin can start this early pink ward here. We need to see where he places it. Normally you put it fairly defensive in your own jungle and just use it simply to spot if LOLpro moves around and don't really want to put it in a situation where they can easily clear it out.
So let's have a look then. We can see that Coast, I'm gonna call him Curse a few times today.
I noticed.
I'm gonna apologize for that one already, specifically to Coast. They're pushing up with a full 5-man here. As the first spear will in fact land. Good wards down by Santorin there. The lone European player that's managed to make it here to London. Danish, which is obviously a point of pride for Deficio. We'll see if he can make you proud on that one. Mod Coast definitely up there in the LOLpro jungle right now, but it seems like going to get the wards down. We'll see if they stick around and steal away this blue buff for the start.
And you can see LOLpro on the minimap here. They clearly want to stay bot lane. They don't want to give up the advantage of the dragon early on, and Coast just waiting around here. Let's see if they can land a hook from Sheep. Nope. Oh.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah.
That was.
Well, LOLpro was hocking the wall here, making sure there was no chance of Sheep actually landing a hook. And now, it seems like Santorin is going to start with rocks up here just to take away the blue buff. This is very, very well played because, again, look here, LOLpro's down the bottom lane with their duel, but they have no wards up here, so they don't even know it's going to happen. Their jungler, of course, they have a ward on the enemy blue buff, so they can maybe think, okay, is Santorin starting his own red? Is he going to move to his own blue buff now, or what are we going to do here? So we need to see how Heaven Time, after taking the red buff, he's actually going to move towards his own blue buff. He expected Santorin to start his own red buff and therefore go to the blue.
And that's a big, big change there in the vote. 75% of you thinking that Coast are going to get ahead in this one and pick up the game. Don't forget though, guys, it's a best of 3, but well, I know. We only can see the line from game number 1, of course, so a little bit easier to vote on that one, but definitely a big, big swing from the LOLesports.com vote that we saw earlier. There's a hop coming out from Sheep. Does land, but unfortunately for him, onto a minion.
And here's the thing for LOLpro. Their comp is actually very good in the mid game. Graves becomes very, very strong, has a lot of burst damage, of course. Nidalee wants to get her second blue buff, or second blue buff, sorry, and then start grouping up and just landing spears, try and take a tower here. So the mid game power spike for LOLpro is actually very, very strong. And we might see them start fighting early on or grouping early on to try and force Coast out of these lanes here and not let them farm into late game.
Look at this level 2 gank possibly from Heaven Time. Gonna come around the back, just checking to see if the Wraith camp was there. So knows that Santorin has been around that Wraith camp in the recent times. We are going to see the hook landing on towards low here. Santorin coming in there, but I think basically the opportunity is already gone for them there. They push away from that one. We did see Flash burnt though from low and Summoner heal as well from Hoodstomp.
Yeah, so 2 summoners gone. Only Ignite was used by Sheep on the side of Coast here. So good early gank. Heaven Time so far still level 2. Remember, he only had 1 buff at level 1. And now he's actually going to check this blue buff and he's still up.
Yeah, still up from this one because of Santorin's pressure down the bottom lane. And
surprised he didn't actually go and take his own blue buff.
Yeah, I'm imagining, just guessing that Heaven Time and thought initially, okay, they're taking my blue buff, I'm just going to go straight over there. Didn't quite happen that way, but Heaven Time will either way be getting the blue buff from the Coast side of the map. And it looks like he's going to try and put some pressure down here onto Rooks, who's already up at level 4. Let's see if they can actually make this one work. Counter-Strike comes up, and we can see that LOLpro waiting things out. The Q from Heaven Time had already connected, follows in for a bit of damage.
Good move though by Heaven Time. He activates the Q and then he just waits. Waits for the Counter-Strike to end and then he jumps in. He doesn't want to get stunned, doesn't want to get a bit of damage onto Rocks here. Didn't have to use the flash however, so he still should be fairly safe and can just keep on farming.
And doing a good job of that as well. He is staying level with Haunter at about 25-26 CS between the two of them. This bottom lane 33-28, so slight advantage for MASH in the early stages of this one. We've seen a couple of hooks already coming out from Sheep, and look at this Heaven Time again, coming back up to this top lane to have a go at Rooks.
Santorin is nearby. It seems he's walking away though because there's no camps in this top side of the jungle, so he's actually going to walk down towards his own Wraith camp, or no, sneaking back into the river. Let's see if he wants to go towards the mid lane or just going back to jungle. Both junglers waiting around here.
There's an early ward out from Golden Glue as well into the Death Brush on the bottom side of the river, so wanting to keep tracks on Heaven Time and making sure that he can't sneak in around the backside like we've seen him try in there before. Meanwhile, down in this bottom lane, Mash still holding it slightly. Nice. There's a hook landing on towards low. The flame coming out as well, but not quite really in range there to put out the maximum damage that they could.
Just poking away a little bit. The Q from Mash actually missed Morgana here, so managed to get away fairly safe. Centaurian, though, once again is in this bottom lane.
Been very, very involved so far in this bottom lane, obviously wanting to get that duo going as the hook comes out. Sheep actually getting hit by the binding, and that will basically say no. Okay, Santorin can't come in there. Managed to miss the CC, and no real opportunity for Elise to get involved down on this bottom side, and both duos will just get back to farming up normally, which, as I said, Mash doing a decent job of, although Hoodstomp also keeping himself up there. And we see now Heaven Time again moving down towards the enemy jungle. Going to get a ward in position. Actually, the Death Brush ward has already timed out. So Golden Glue, not knowing that Heaven Time is around there as the Q is going to land. Golden Glue here is going to take some damage, but level 6 and managed to get on the right side, really, of Heaven Time there to get away.
And Heaven Time, he did the same thing in the semi-final, where the very first item he builds on Lee Sin is actually a Sight Stone. So he goes like full on just placing down wards for his team. The thing is, you sacrifice a lot of early game damage and pressure by not going Elder Lizard first item, and then normally you go Sidestone as your second item here. But he's just putting full focus on getting some wards down for LoL Pro to try and spot out Centaurian and see what Costa doing. And Sheep once again going aggressive.
Does manage to land that one, as we are going to see up in the top lane. Rook's taking a lot of damage from Haunter there. Here comes LinkedIn Flash. Q flashed away from there by Rook. Very quick reaction, but look at this. Santorin coming around as well. And I think that will be enough to force LoL Pro away from that top side. Is the binding going to land on some Mash as well? A lot of damage going to come down. Summon a heal going to be used by Mash, and he can Valkyrie away behind his turret.
Very, very nice binding though, and LoL Pro really playing aggressive here early on. We saw again the flash Q from Hematine up in his top lane here. Rox was fast on his flash, however. And then a very smart ward afterwards. They instantly warded the bush because they knew Centaurian was nearby this top lane here. So they saw him, didn't risk anything, and backed away here. So smart play by LoL Pro, and doing really well early on here, playing very aggressive.
Almost getting that first blood down in the bottom lane onto Mash. That summoning heal really coming in handy for him. We are going to see Heaven Time again coming to that mid lane. Golden Glue, of course, still has his flash available to him. Meanwhile, Rook's going aggressive here on towards Haunter, but these two trading like mad in that top lane. Of course, almost saw Rooks go down that last time. Does have a Vamp Scepter here, though, so he can keep himself sustained.
Yeah, built for the sustain here. Normally, Shyvana will then go towards some tankiness against the Jax early on, so we could see a Sunfire as the first item from Hanzo, and then maybe later on, if he wants to try and split push, if he gets ahead, go towards the Blade of the Rune King. Otherwise, he can just go full tank and focus on actually team fighting, because he knows he's going to get outscaled by this Jax in the split push here. We also saw Heaven Time being around the mid lane quite often. Only issue is when you gank the Nidalee lane, she doesn't provide anything. Like, she has no CC, her damage is very low at this point here, so therefore, it's basically just Heaven Time going in, poking a little bit, and then backing away every time.
Especially since Lord has not really been back here, only got that Doran's ring from the start, as does Golden Glue. And we can see that actually Lord ahead there in the CS, so doing a really fine job with that Nidalee.
Yeah, so that's the thing Heaven Time's gank have done, is basically force Ziggs to be a bit more passive, lose some CS, so Lord here could do a good job farming up, and now Blue Buff spawning. Shoot going over to Lord Pro, will Curse try and do something against it?
Yeah, Lord actually did get his own blue buff here, so see that Heaven Time and Lord trying to put down some pressure. They've got Haunter coming in as well. Ultimate actually coming out there from Golden Glue, trying to force them away from it, but those spears could still be a major factor in this one. Blue buff actually pulled right into the back of the pit, and that is, in the end, actually going to go over to Santorin, so not going to the mid laner.
Yeah, really want this blue buff here on Ziggs so he can just push the wave down and get some damage on the tower as well here. Sheep missing the hook after good binding once again from low.
Yeah, keeping him in position, and that hook just flying a little bit wide there, so let off the hook a little bit. Haunter again going in towards Rook, starting off with that Giant's Belt, so got a decent amount of health. Golden Glue in the meantime, we see here the problem that he's facing. No mana on him because that blue buff went over to Santorin.
And he should also have recalled earlier. Even before the blue buff could have spawned, he could have recalled, picked up a chalice and gone back to lane, take the blue buff, and therefore start putting on a lot of pressure. Haunter though, he's in trouble.
Oh, that's a great max range cocoon as well. Haunter going to get locked up from this one. Can he get away? Flash comes in! And the rappel a little bit slow there from Santorin. Couldn't get himself over the wall. In the meantime though, Lowpro gonna seize that opportunity of having the jungler on the top side, going for Dragon, and will take it.
Instantly replying here from Lowpro to see 2 members in the top lane. That's Dragon for them. And also, we're going to Hoodstorm here. Going in.
Oh, gonna go in for that one. The play coming down onto low. And Sheep actually falling real low with this one. But the first blood coming down from Matt. And Sheep managing to survive as well. They're going towards Heaven time. There's gonna be a lot of damage. The knock-up coming in, but not the damage. Hoodstorm is going under the tower. He's managed to kill off Sheep, but now he's a little bit low.
Jax
This
here.
dangerous. Jax is gonna come across. Heaven time is low. And we see Hoodstorm is in no man's land right now. Where's he going to go? He's going to try and execute himself. Rook's getting in there close, but I think Hoodstorm got that one. Nicely done.
Beautiful. Even just stops in the very end. Knows, okay, there's no chance you can get me. Managed to get a kill on the tower and then get executed afterwards. A beautiful play by Hoodstorm here.
Really, really well done. Leaves him at 1-1-0, but the execute not costing anything to Lowpro. And that gives him a BF sword and the Vamp Scepter coming back into lane.
And because Rox had to teleport to the bottom lane, didn't get anything for it, he lost a lot of CS in this top lane here, and Haunter could push it all the way down to the tower. Look how low it already is from the very first gank where Rox had to flash away. So Lowpro, with a lot of control in these lanes here and really using the advantage that now Rox has no teleport, and also as soon as they saw Santorin in the top lane, instantly just took the dragon, started the fight in the bot lane. They knew he wasn't near.
Few hundred gold ahead now are Lowpro, sitting at 1-for-1 in kills. Let's look down some of the CS here. Top lane actually 20 CS ahead, mid lane pretty even but a slight advantage for Lod. Bottom lane, slight advantage for Mash as well, so quite even on all fronts. We also see that the Cutlass is picked up here for Rooks as well, but Haunter doesn't seem to be phased by that one, going very aggressive.
Because once again, Heaven time is coming in here, just scanning the bush. Knows there's no ward at the moment, and actually might even try and go for dive here.
Oh, gonna come through. Rooks less than half HP. Nice little sidestep though.
So this is the
from
tower.
Q.
It's the tower. Lowpro's basically just forcing him away here, denying him even more CS, taking the tower as well. So doing a very good job of shutting down Rox early. We talked about how he's a person who loves to play these carry top laner, split pushes there, so he can have a lot of impact for the team. If you shut him down like this, you delay the Jax power spike by a lot.
See if we can keep on with that one. Bottom lane facing a lot of pressure as well. Lowpro having a bit of trouble on that one. We can also see that Golden Glue's turret is being pressured by Lord. Santorin going to come across. We do have Heaven time moving in as well. That could actually disrupt them here. Santorin going very low. There is Shyvana from the side, and Golden Glue kicked away. Rooks meanwhile jumping in, will get a kill back. And that is a decent 1-for-1 coming in. Coast will be happy with that one again. A kill for Jax, always a good thing. Meanwhile, the hook landing on towards low in the bottom lane. Not going to get away from that one. Sheep able to pick up the kill, and they don't have the damage to finish off Mash either.
But we do see the burst and the power here. Oh, Rock's actually going for Hunter. Backing away, don't really want to tower dive him yet. But we do see the power of Corki here once he completes the Bloodthirst. There's so much damage. He even missed the Q again onto Morgana, yet he managed to kill him. Graves used everything in return. Easy peasy for Mash to just jump away here. So Coast now joining the game, I would say. Lowpro's been controlling the things the first few minutes. Coast now really showing they also want to play.
See the blue buff also stolen away by Santorin there. And Mash is also going to put down some good pressure on towards this bottom turret. And with Graves low and recalling, I think this tower is going to be going down. Will be the first of the game for Coast. And actually the minions are going to be left to finish off. And
I can go in and pick
not sure that they've got the damage there. Yep, Low is going to keep a hold of that one, but it's one single auto attack from Corki to take that down.
Oh, waiting around? No? Well, Low is very deep in here. They can actually collapse onto him.
Yep, got the vision around there as well. Low's actually trying to get rid of that pink ward. Suddenly realizes I am a little bit of trouble from this one. The hook land already was shielded up, but he's not going to be able to escape from this one in complete no man's land. Mash is going to get that one. That's his second kill of the game. Bad news when the AD carries racking up the kills.
Yeah, and Coast were leaving the tower alive simply just to try and bait Low to actually move into lane. He thought they just recalled, straight away. Now they can push the wave in. Of course, Graves will join in, should be able to pick it up. They can just take the tower if they want. It's like 1 or 2 hits, and you can back away, go back to base.
And that tower is going to go down with this push. The minions themselves would actually finish this one off. It's actually Mash that will finish that. And also we did see that Ziggs went and put a ward on his own blue buff. That one was taken away last time around, or contested at least. It was Santorini that actually smited it away to make sure that they actually had that one under control. But Golden Glue knows that he probably needs that one this time around. We also only have 1 minute until the next dragon of the game comes into play.
And both teams so far have been very, very good at responding to what's happening on the map. If there's action in the bot lane, Lolpro moved up to the top side, took a tower, took away the blue buff we just saw here, got it onto the Nidalee in the mid lane. So overall, they've just been very good at seeing, okay, what is Coast doing, what can we do in exchange? Also the Dragon, of course, when Centurion was ganking top lane.
Good hook once again, but it looks like they're going to actually go in for Golden Glue, puts down the jump, and actually Hunter maybe a little bit too deep from this one. Not quite the damage coming out there from Coast. The heal from Lord as well will make sure that Hunter is in fact safe from that one. Leaves Coast 4-2 up, he kills, and the gold really close to being even.
But this means that Hansa won't have ulti now for the team fight in 12 seconds where Dragon actually spawns. If Coast has the time on it, if they want to try and go and fight, they know now the top laner from Lolpro won't have his ulti, won't be able to just jump in their face, and we can also kill him a bit easier. He won't get the tanky stats from his ulti.
Here we go then, Dragon actually spawning into this one. Are they going to try and challenge for it? Santorini going to be coming around the bottom side with Mash. Actually, Dragon already pretty low on this one. We are going to see the TP in the backside. The bomb coming through from Ziggs. Santorini going low, but will get around to the side. Mash in the meantime, completely out of position. They will get the kill back on towards Heaventime. Hoodstomp also following low here. Will flash away. Haunter up in their face, and Haunter going to get the kill on Tarux with the help of Lod. And they're not following back from this one. Sheep also going to be pressured. There's a double kill coming in. More spears actually landing from Lod, and well, Lolpro going to be happy with this one. They come out with 3 kills, and they're going to get the Dragon.
So either Coast didn't have the timer for Dragon, or they were late for it, because they came in a very bad position. 2 members from the top side, 2 members from the bottom side, and then Rocks teleporting inside the Dragon pit here. So they're completely split up. And if we get a replay of this one, we need to notice how Low is playing Morgana here with his ulti on Smash. We're going to see there. Notice how Coast come from multiple sides. Now Low gets the ulti on, flashes after him, he just stays with him so he gets the stun. Once Hunter comes in from the backside with teleport, easy pickup. 80 carry is now gone, and they can keep chasing. Blue buff onto Nidalee. No blue buff on the side of Ziggs here, so a lot more poke coming in from Load and just hitting spears left and right, picking up the kills. So Coast a bit too late for the Dragon and completely the wrong position.
That is going to be costing them now 2,000 gold behind that of Lolpro. Still even on turrets and on kills as well. If we look down the CS, I can see a nice advantage for Lod in the mid lane and that top lane as well. Haunter doing a fantastic job here on Shyvana. Got himself a 30 CS lead over Rux on Jax. So everything really going to plan here. Coast, of course, going to be getting stronger specifically from that top lane with Jax.
Yeah.
We all know that he's going to be ramping up.
And of course also Ziggs in the mid lane is very, very strong in the late game, and he's just going to keep farming up here. There's been a lot of pressure on Golden Glue and Rocks actually. The solo laners have really been the target for Heaventime. I don't think I've seen him in bot lane once. It's basically been Coast controlling the bot lane when it comes to picking fights and getting a few kills. But then it was Heaventime setting everything up in the solo laners and putting a lot of pressure. And of course, Lolpro winning out on the team fight. And Hoodstomp here, pushing it down to the tower, will back away because Mash is coming in.
Yeah, Mash moving into that one will be able to save that tower from going down as well. Meanwhile, the blue buff spawning in on Lolpro's side of the map, and a spear for Lod will get himself that one. That turret in the mid lane was pressure, but not actually finished off there by Coast. Meanwhile, Rux in his top lane does have that Blade of the Ruined King now finished, so see if that gives him a little bit more confidence. But up against the Shyvana, who's already got the Sunfire Cape and a second Giant's Belt as well.
Very tanky already. We talked about how Shyvana needs to build some tankiness early on against Jax, and then maybe go for Blade later, or just continue the route here and go full tank, focus on teamfights with the rest of the Lolpro team. So we might see them start grouping up here, trying to pick fights maybe around the blue buff from Coast, or just start sieging down a tower if they can. It's pretty hard though against the Ziggs. He's gonna just wave clear for days.
I see the blue buff actually has just come up. Haunter already there. The rest of Lolpro actually moving in from this one, and Coast starting to back away somewhat. There's the spear going in. Rook's actually going to go aggressive. Managing to get the stun off onto two of them. Log going low, but he gets himself a big heal. And now Rook's falling low. Mash is going to go down. Haunts are actually on a rampage from that one. And they're going to keep chasing here. Santorin low. Golden Glue down to half HP as the hook will land onto Haunter. He's too tanky already though for them to take him down. So 2 for 1 for Lolpro.
And Coast here, they went all in on killing the Nidalee, but Nidalee just simply jumped away with the Black Shield, and Mash was completely out of position because he wanted to just get the one last hit. Lolpro once again responds, wins the team fight, and now taking down a mid tower as well. And I really like the fact they group up for the blue buff, where this minions doesn't matter. It's not about wave playing when you fight for objectives here, so I really like the way they group up early. Rox actually gets a beautiful stun here, and Mash, you see how he just wants this one last hit, even trying with the rocket. Just missing, and then a beautiful ult from Hansa, jumping over the wall, hitting 2 members. Mash, of course, being the important one, the AD carry. Easy kill once again for Lolpro, and they can just chase on here.
Almost getting in there for an extra kill right at the end. Santorin very, very low. Leaves Lolpro 7-6 up. 4,000 gold almost is the total that they currently lead from. And doing a fantastic job of things. We can see their HUD stomp. Itemization for him, Bloodthirster first, of course, with Graves, and going into the Ghostblade second.
Wow, I've never actually seen this particular build on Graves before, but really going heavily in for the 4 seconds of burst here. You can do like use full combo and then just these auto attacks. It's gonna hurt so much more, and he's gonna hit a bit faster as well, of course, for a few seconds, and then try and go full in on this. Get a target down. Once we land a binding, of course, binding is gonna be 3 seconds from below, and once the land is binding here, just go all in on killing this target with all the burst possible, and therefore the Ghostblade could help out.
See how that works out for them in the coming moments here as Lod headed up towards his top side. They've already got wards down by Baron here, have Lolpro, so keeping a watchful eye on that one. The pink ward inside of the pit, his bottom tower as well, not really healthy either, so very much a real option for Lolpro. We are going to see HUD stomp here, throwing down all his damage on towards Mash, and actually his ulti going to come out, but he's locked up and trying for that one-on-one, and suddenly it became a 3-on-1 for him.
Very, very aggressive move. I mean, he did get both summoners away from Mash, but did have to give up his life here now. We need to see what Coast can do. 55 seconds on the Dragon, so Hoodstomp will be up for it, and will be able to come down and join the team. But both AD carries here without any summoners.
See Golden Glue as well coming down towards his bottom lane, really wanting to make sure that they hold on to that turret. Rooks has come to cover the mid lane as well there for a brief second, but he's going to be headed away, and they've got vision of him as well thanks to that Nidalee trap that he's walked over.
Dragon is spawning in 30 seconds. There's no teleport on the side of Rox, and he just went top lane here. Same goes for Hansa actually, so we might see a fight without the top laners, or maybe he just wants to start the slow pushing and then run down to join his team. Seems like the idea for him is now joining in or moving down at least towards the Dragon.
Oh, Mash actually dodging into the spear there. One more will probably kill him. Is the bind is gonna land?
And Dragon.
That makes it a lot easier. The Dragon coming up, as you said, in less than 10 seconds. And that is, well, an easy Dragon now for Lolpro.
The power of Morgana together with Nidalee. Land one spear or one binding, and it's just easy to set up here. Oh, of course, if you land a binding, it's very easy to set up the next spear. The first one was all Lord here with the first spear. That was full credit to him. Morgana just good binding afterwards.
See that ward's taken down, and we will see the Dragon going to Lolpro, and also they take finally that turret in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Rock's having a go here on towards Haunter, and actually going to get the stun down onto him there. We do have a Randuin's already on Haunter, so not feeling too much pressure really from Rux, able to get away without his life.
Still though, we see he can really fight back against Rox, but that's not his point of the game. It's not his plan. He just want to keep farming. We see how tanky he is already, and simply just go full or be very, very strong in the team fights and very hard to kill for Coast, especially a Corki late game. He's going to have big trouble killing a very, very fed Shyvana.
But at the same time, they have Ziggs as well, so
very
we'll
true.
See if they can break through. Lord is obviously going to be instrumental in this one. Spears have to land as they're pushing out those towers. Already got the death cap along with the Athene's Unholy Grail, so those spears already sting quite a lot. And this is a significant gold lead that Lolpro actually have. We're only 25 minutes into this game and already got a healthy lead. We'll see if they can continue on from this one. Of course, outer turrets down now by Lolpro in every single lane. So the question is now, how well can they get onto these inner turrets? you'd have to think quite well with the fact that they've got that Nidalee for
Yep.
Siege and being ahead as well. They're also going to be getting down some vision. They're actually grouping up towards the Baron area, but more importantly, I think about the blue buff right now as we see them coming in there. Rook's actually trying to get the damage down, and the blue buff in the end, I think went over to Nidalee there, if I'm not mistaken. No, I am mistaken.
Ziggs had it.
Ziggs did get it. Lord has his own blue buff.
However, again, we see the idea from LoL Pro. They're not just going to group up and just try and push down a tower when Ziggs is there to wave clear. So they go for the objectives once again. Dragon is down, of course. They had to pick the next one. Blue was coming up. They kept the timer on it for the entire game because Heaven Time could go in late, pick up the blue buff. At the level 2 point, I believe it was. It simply meant they had the timer all along. They've just been going in every single time, fighting for it or picking it up. This Ghostblade, once again, I really want to see how it works in teamfights for Hootstone. Definitely could help him survive against the Jax because you get the speed buff as well. So you dash away, you get speeding up there, and Jax won't be able to catch you as easily, and you just try and hammer away on him if you can.
So let's see then. Ghost pulling back a little bit from this one, facing some pressure on that top side of the map. As Haunter pushing it through. And Low going about his business there, clearing out a few wards, and Haunter also taking away a little bit from the coast jungle at the same time. If you look down the mid lane, as I already mentioned, Nidalee now added in a Void Staff on top of that Death Cap and the Athene's Unholy Grail. Other side, Golden Glue a full item behind.
Full item behind. But of course, there's been a lot of objectives for LoL Pro. Standing away, waiting for the minions to come, clear them out once again. Nice peace deal there. Now, and it's broken.
And it's broken, also just jumping in there onto Rook, saying, yeah, we can have a dance, but I'm still gonna attack you straight away after that one. Lord, in the meantime, not played super offensive up until now with this Nidalee. Not really tried to push that one out there as the spear comes flying through. Sheep trying to throw out a hook, but basically scores them a goal straight down the middle.
Again, to be fair though, for Lord in here, you don't really want to try and push down Ziggs when you are in Italy.
That's
so
true.
He's just been farming, waiting for team fights, and it's been working for him. We saw him down the bottom lane as well, where he landed the spear onto Mash, and then we saw the Morgana binding to set up the next very easy spear for him and just pick up a kill. So overall, he's been doing really well together with the rest of LoL Pro, controlling the map, and it was the thing we talked about in the pregame, how LoL Pro is a team who plays really well around the map here. They don't necessarily have like a one-star player or individual fantastic players. They're all good players, of course, but it's not what they rely on. They rely on the shot calling and moving around the map, and that's why we see them constantly contest the blue buff and also picking off the dragons.
Another hook out there for Sheep, and also sort of using that vision that they have so that Lord could land those spears. First one going in towards Sheep. And also have just under 2 minutes until that dragon will be coming back up, so expecting that to be the next big thing in this game, although LoL Pro really baiting them out towards Baron. Actually going to start it out.
Rox is teleporting down this bottom lane. They might just want to bait his teleport and then back away here. But Coast is moving in. We could see a very big team fight coming very soon.
Well, Baron down to less than half. LoL Pro actually coming away from this one. They're going to go straight up to Sheep. Get that kill as well. Finally, Rooks is going to TP in, but look at this. Low being segregated from the rest of the team. He will go down, and that will be a 1-for-1. Both supports dying. Question now is, can Rooks actually escape from this one? I don't think that LoL Pro necessarily going to chase fully in. Rooks just dodging out on that spear, and it will stay at a 1-for-1 with the supports going down.
But very, very quick turnaround here for LoL Pro. They were in the Baron. As soon as they saw Coast, they just instantly turned. The binding landed onto Sheep from low, and they just went full ham onto him, killed him instantly, and then tried to chase here. Low maybe went a little bit too aggressive in the end, and had to give up a kill, and Rox, of course, managed to escape. So 1-for-1, but Coast managed to bait out the teleport from Rox here. Hunter still has his.
We'll see what he does with that teleport advantage. He's currently headed towards the top lane. And a neat cowl there into the rest of the item that he's gone for. Looks like we could be seeing a Blade of the Ruin King coming out next for him. Of course, already has that Sunfire Cape and the Randuin's Omen as well. His opposite number, Rooks, gone for a bit of a mixed bag, I think it's safe to say. Phage in there, got himself a Negatron Cloak and a Chain Vest as well.
So because he was so far behind, he couldn't actually go Blade of the Ruin King into Trinity Force, which you really want to do on Jax and become so strong. He had, of course, to get some early magic resist to fight against Shyvana, who does a lot of magic damage towards him. And at the same time now he needs some armor for the team fights because he's behind. Again, he needs to be able to tank at least something for his team. So he needed the early armor, delaying his Trinity Force, and once again delaying his Power Spike.
Alright, Dragon has spawned in here. See, Lolpro already started this one off. Santorin and Sheep waiting off onto the backside. The Dragon down to less than half HP. Is he going to be able to get across from this one? A little bit too late there. And it's going to go over again to Lolpro, having real good Dragon control at this point. And honestly, they're closing in on a 10,000 gold lead.
Yeah, now we just need to see if they can actually close it again. Notice how we haven't seen them push down on lane because they know you can't do it against all the wave from the side of Coast. So they're just keeping up objectives, forcing out a teleport. Maybe want to try and set up a Baron once again, land a binding from low, and then just go all in, like we just saw before here. And they are actually moving towards the Baron, starting it instant because they put down the ping. So there was no wards. Coast not moving yet here. They are pinging towards the river, but not exactly on the Baron yet.
Not really in a position to be challenging for this one. They have to go a little bit quicker. I think it's gone too fast here. Lolpro going to take the Baron down. And that brings them to 9,000 gold in the lead. Without a single answer there from Coast. Sorry. Turret did go down though. That's the one, I guess, consolation prize for Coast.
Yeah, at least they got a tower, but still, Lolpro with full control of the map, especially around the Baron side, so they could just start it at full wards to see if Coast were actually moving in to stop them. They weren't moving at all, just took a mid tower instead, and therefore Lolpro could safely pick up the Baron here. And now's the time here, because blue buff is gone. They just picked it up. Baron is gone. Dragon, of course, is gone. This is a time where they need to decide now, do we actually want to group up and start landing a few spears from Italy, try and force someone back and then take a tower? Or do we want to keep moving around in the jungle of Coast, try and catch someone out of position, once again land a binding, and pick up a kill?
Well, we're going to see. If you look at the mid lane, it's both up at 300 CS already. In fact, Haunter also done a fantastic job when it comes to the farm, and well, he's 502 as well, which
pretty good.
Definitely adds to things. 13,000 gold to the 9,500 of Rooks. That is a massive disparity in favor of Lolpro. We can see already that they're starting to strangle Coast out of this one, get the wards down in the jungle, and really stop them from pushing out. Those inner towers are going to start to be pressured soon.
And again, because they can't really siege, they're just grouping or splitting up, in multiple lanes. Bit of a fight down here in the bottom lane. Haunter just tanking up rocks for now. 4 members instantly moving because Hoodstomp pushed the wave down and Coast way too slow to react. They saw him pushing it down long before here. Haunter going aggressive.
And going aggressive on this one. The stun is going to come out. Actually missing Haunter there. Tries the flash onto Rooks. He's going to need one more hit. Is going to be able to pick that one up. He's now dominating as Ziggs will throw the ulti in there. Will they tank this one up? The hook from Sheep didn't land. Inhib turret already down to less than half, and Haunter is going to be taking the inner turret on the bottom lane. TP comes in. Turret is going to go down though, and Lolpro just showing how dominant they are here, how far ahead they are as well. Haunter finally taking a lot of damage that will force him to back away. Will survive from that one though.
Still need to be careful here. Heaven Time taking a lot of damage.
Oh, Sheep actually following through on this one. That actually might be the death of him as well. Trying to get in there. They do get Heaven Time. Low going to fall as well. Meanwhile, Lodge going to get locked up there by the Cocoon. Have they got the damage to finish off? Yes, they do. It's Golden Glue that gets that one. And a nice little fight for Coast, but they lose a lot of the map for it.
They did lose a lot on the map here. Lost 2 or actually 3 towers just by Lolpro pushing down multiple lanes. But the teamfight itself, they just managed to land so much poke onto Lolpro, and then the hook coming in from Sheep. First one onto Shyvana, poking him down even further. Next hook, he went in for it and can pick up because we're going to see it again here. We actually have 2 members that just used the heal, but still. Haunter comes in here. It's already been poked down quite a bit. Mash doing a lot of damage to him, even using Ignite, everything. Gets away, but then Sheep lands another hook and they actually decide to go in for it. Just in a second here, there we go. Black Shield ends, goes in, lands the play, and he's going to be the target, but still. Who cares if your support takes a lot of damage here? He even gets out alive. Look at Mash, completely untouched until the very first binding coming in from low, and he can just clean up everything.
Really nicely done, but I have to feel that Coast probably going to have to do that 2 or 3 or maybe even more times here in the near future to get themselves back in this game. 8,000 gold is the difference between the 2 teams. Brooks still not quite getting his second item finish. He obviously Blade of the Rune King familiar, the Phage. He's going to be moving up towards that Randuin's Omen as his next item here, but can't really compare that with Haunter, who's also now added a Banshee's Veil into the top of what he already had.
And we did see the one-on-one just before here, where Blade of the Ruin King was completed by Hansa, and he actually went for the fight, managed to win it because he was so far ahead. He was like, you know what, I don't need to go even tanky, I can just pick up a blade and actually start dueling you in this split push because you are so far behind. So very smart move, paid off, got the kill, got the tower, and then teleporting to join the fight on the top side here from the Pro side. So overall, things are still looking good, even though Coast managed to get a few kills in the last fight.
Pro that headed towards Dragon there. Slightly off timing with that one. A minute too early.
A minute, yeah.
Yeah. I guess timed that one a little bit wrong, but either way, they've got full control over that area of the map, so once that does actually come up, they should be able to get in there for an easy take. Either way, then the ultimate arrow that takes it was close, but not going to give them what they wanted. It's actually Hudstomp that will take away the blue off there for Pro. No one saw that. He was just dashing to take a look over the edge of the cliff.
Exactly. 100% agree here. Tower didn't actually go down this bottom lane. I said before they actually got the bottom tower. They didn't because he had to teleport in. Should be able to pick it up now fairly easily and still push on. Baron come up in 1 minute and about 50 seconds. Pro for now have an open inhibitor in the top side they can go towards if they want to go for a team fight at least. Or maybe try and go and land some poke from the Nidalee, or the binding from low followed up by the poke. Or they can just wait for the Baron, do the exact same thing where they bait it out once again.
Trying to hook up Heaven Time there, but he is already pretty tanky. Almost got himself the Randuin's Omen finished off as well. And Pro want this inhibitor right now. A lot of damage back from Coast, and always have to factor in that Ziggs, but here comes Hansa. There we go. Sheep actually going to go deep on this one. Throws down the box, but may end up going down from it. It's actually Golden Glue that will pick up the kill there onto Heaven Time, but Hansa right in the middle of the team doing good damage. He's surely going to fall. It's a double kill actually coming in. Mash also getting one there at the end. No, it's a triple kill in the end actually for Golden Glue, and that 4 men down. Nidalee the only one to survive, able to pounce away, but Coast coming up again with a fight on that top lane.
Again, Pro is really getting punished for picking fights here because Coast is so strong in these team fights. Once again, it is Sheep with the engage. He just goes in, pops everything on himself to try and stay alive here. All the shields he have, even the lantern was actually used. Doesn't even die the first time. And then, the Sin went down very early. Hansa now, I mean, he's already too low. Just have to go back here. Beautiful ult from Gold Blue to just pick up a triple kill as well. And Coast looking very strong in these team fights. Pro doesn't really know how they want to handle them. I mean, again, as I just said before, they could have moved down, try to land some poke, and then go for an inhibitor, or just wait for the Baron, bait it out, and do the exact same thing and fight with Baron buff at least, where they would be stronger. Decided to just go for a straight up team fight, and credit to Sheep for landing a very nice hook again.
It's going to be interesting now. 5 seconds until the Baron comes back onto the map. We can see that Coast already moving in there. Sheep going to get some vision down and into the Baron pit itself. So they'll see that the Baron is now back up, actually pinging into the pit itself. And Coast now moving up that mid lane as well. So let's see if they try to fight Pro from this one. After winning those last 2 team fights, probably feeling fairly confident actually about going in for it. Good amounts of damage from Golden Glue. Got the safety as well of that Zhonya's Hourglass should he need it. But Pro already starting off the Baron here with 3 men.
There's a ward though inside there. Pit here of Baron. There's no ping. Actually, the ping is outside from Pro, so they won't be able to spot the ward inside the Baron pit. Therefore, Coast moving up here to stop them. Oh, nice buy.
Oh, Cocoon coming in there. Lot is going to go down from this one. It's actually Rooks that picks up that kill. Santorin going low as well. Hansa trying to take out the AD carry. He's fighting 1 versus 4 here, and he's going to be sacrificed in the end. Actually flashed away, but there is a follow through from Cheat. Can they actually lock up low? Mash is the one chasing in from it. Gonna be getting some health back there thanks to that Bloodthirster. Hook goes wide, flashed away from the binding, and low. Whilst he's gonna be able to keep alive for a little bit, he won't actually survive. Heaven Time on the other side of the map as well. Golden Glue is chasing him around. Will take the satchel charge over the top, trying to stop him here from executing in. Will he get it? Yes, he will. Nice enough from Heaven Time, but in the end, team fight again, going to Coast, and this time they get Baron.
We have hit the late game point here again, where Coast is so strong in these team fights, and Pro is not able to do it. It's the Cocoon actually onto Lot here early on in the fight, so he's gonna be the first target. Everyone goes in, instantly just kills him. Rocks teleports inside from the Baron pit, and then he's just one-on-one-ing Hudstomp, and it's a very unfair fight. Jax against your AD carry. Even with the help of Heaven Time, they can't even take him down. Heaven Time needs to just try and run away from here, and Coast overall just looking so strong in these late game team fights. Pro might have waited too long.
This flash from Mash was pretty fantastic as well, getting away from the binding. His Q missed straight after.
Missing every rocket though.
Yeah.
Duke, Duke, Duke.
That's fine though, he flashed away from the binding. That was the impressive part
I agree.
of that fight. And that actually leaves Coast 18-12 up in kills. And look at that gold swinging right back. Not in their favor just yet, but certainly a lot less of a difference than it was before. Now Coast with that Baron buff on. What can they do here? And how much is this going to scare LoLPro, to be honest, after losing what is now 3 team fights in a row?
So they still have the advantage of the spears while waiting under that tower here. Unless Coast want to dive onto them here or try and poke someone down, of course, and wait in. Middle can just sit back, land spear, or try to land the spears left and right. Of course, with the Baron region, it's going to be harder to actually force a target back. But just land 1 or 2 spears on the same target, and Coast will be forced to back away a little bit. And it's definitely the game plan for LoLPro. Just wait out this Baron buff here. You've already lost a few team fights in a row. You definitely don't want to fight the same team with the Baron buff, of course, which actually means Coast should be ahead in gold if you look at the stats the Baron buff will give you.
Yeah, but for Coast on their side, they've got that Ziggs to put down damage behind the tower. They've got Corky hammering away with those rockets as well. A hook or maybe a cocoon that can land from Santorin maybe will be the go sign for Rooks with that Jax to just dive in there. Got himself that Randuin's and a Banshee's Veil on top of his Blade of the Ruin King. Still only sat with the Phage if we're looking at how far he is with that Trinity Force, but Coast with that Baron buff on, you have to feel slowly but surely going to be able to take this in the tower.
He's getting some good damage and will be able to pick it up here and then move on towards the next thing. There's still, up in the top lane here, 2 towers they can go towards if they push the minion wave in. There's no teleport on Rocks, that's why he's not up there pushing it. Hansa does have his teleport and he's actually going to go to this top side and be ready in case something should happen.
1 minute and 40 seconds until a dragon comes back up, and it'll be a nice little pickup here for Coast. Would pretty much bring them back level when it comes to the gold total. Now, of course, 42 minutes into this one for LoLPro, doing everything right up until, well, this top lane really not being kind to them, losing 2 fights in a row, and then that fight around the Baron as well. And you see Coast then getting the Baron buff straight away afterwards, and really are now back in this game.
I actually like what Rox is doing. You talked about before how he's delaying his training force even further. Because again, he was behind, he was like, you know what? I just need to go for team fights now. I need to build some tankiness, and I can actually be in these fights instead of going full or 100% just for split pushing. And Sheep once again, landing the hook and the cocoon.
Oh, cocoon will follow through as well. Have they got the damage? I don't think so there.
Kills were used though.
Finish off Heaven time. Mash and the rest of the team here may just be able to take this in a turret. Meanwhile, Rooks and Haunts are actually having a bit of a fight up on that top side. Spear actually landing, but we see Golden Glue just spamming away from the side, throwing those bouncing bombs in there, and that's going to force LoLPro away from this turret. Another inner tower going to Coast.
And we really see the lack of wave clear for LoLPro here being a big issue. Just look at the wave coming into the tower before. It didn't even die, because again, they have nobody to clear the waves unless Graves is there, and it's very risky for him because he needs to be so close to the minions to actually clear them. It's just very hard for LoLPro to stop Coast from taking down these towers. Hansa though, he will still want to fight.
And may actually do a good job of this one. Rooks is like, not really sure if I can actually fight him. We'll try and dive away. Hansa gonna ulti in there, and Rooks just flashing back into the lane. We'll be able to walk away, but probably a little bit annoyed about that one. Trinity Force has done that fight, might have been a little different for him. And the fact is, there's a Thorn Mail as well now on Hansa.
I mean, it's a full item Shyvana here he's fighting. It's not exactly one he's supposed to win at this point here. Now he's actually going to go to try and finish the Trinity Force. So again, we talked about how it's good he built some tankiness so he could actually join in for team fights and not be just this very squishy Jax dying instantly.
So, Dragon then started off this time around by LoLPro. See that Coast just waiting at the back. There's the hook going in. A little bit too slow there though from Sheep. And it will be finished off by Heaven time, which keeps LoLPro, for now at least, ahead in the goal. 44 minutes into this game. It's Coast who had that last Baron, which is now, by the way, timed out for them. So that will be coming up here in just under 2 minutes time. And that's certainly going to be an interesting time in this game. You have to feel that another team fight winning a Baron for Coast will set them pretty far ahead and make them possibly unbeatable at that point.
I mean, from the point, or from what we've just seen the last 10-15 minutes, LoLPro really needs to just land some poke and then try and take the Baron, or try and take inhibitor, or maybe go for the fight if they land multiple spears in a row. straight up 5v5. They can't fight.
And we see once again, Hansa actually getting a little bit caught out here, but as you said before, full item Shyvana not really in too much danger. And there we see the gold over time between the AD carries. A bit of a swing from that one. We have to say that MASH 7-3-9 at this point.
And it really showed the game actually for the AD carries, because MASH did really well in the laning phase, picked up some kills. Oh, low, taking a lot of damage here. We'll back away. Hoodstorm is pushing his mid lane, while Coast is up in his top side.
And managing to actually take that outer turret finally. I'm not sure how that one managed to really last as long as it had, but that leaves just the one single inner turret left on the top lane for LawPro. Still an inner turret on the mid lane as well from Coast side of things, and the Baron less than 1 minute away.
And still this gold graph we saw before. It showed for the AD carries again. MASH got a few kills in the laning phase, therefore he was ahead in gold. But then they started losing these fights here. All the dragons went in favor of LawPro. So Hoodstorm all of a sudden got ahead in gold. But then now, because the team fights have been turning around, MASH is back on top and definitely far ahead in gold. 7 kills to 2 as well.
So, LawPro gonna risk moving towards this Baron area right now. We can see the ward's already been cleared out by Coast. And only 10 seconds until this one comes down. Those bouncing bombs at this stage really going to be quite painful. Lich Bane actually added in 4 golden glue on his last pickup. Haunting guys on the other side. For Lord as the hook is going to land. Haunter not the target that you want to go for though.
And we did actually see Hoodstorm now sell his Ghost Blade. He didn't want it anymore, needed a Banshee, so defensive items here. Of course you want to try and dodge around the Cocoon from Elise. Even the hook coming in from Sheep, we've seen it hitting pretty well actually in these fights here. And of course Jax jumping in. If Jax doesn't target him at first, he won't pop the Banshee, and therefore he can use it against a Counter-Strike and won't get stunned by rocks, at least when the fight starts. Overall though, again we talk about the goal between AD carries. They're all full item at this point, except for MASH just need to upgrade his Quicksilver Sash, and then he's perfectly fine in full items.
So Baron is now live. We saw Scrying Orb actually picked up 4 MASH, just use it to scan around the Baron just to check out exactly what was going on there. Blue Buff actually going over to Haunter in the end. Nice cheeky little pickup for him. But will Coast come out strong once again yet? When we get towards those team fights, you have to feel that Lot ought to hit some damage here as Rook's going very, very deep, pretty much on his own from this one. Gonna lose half of his life, but they're gonna go deep onto him, going very, very low. Hoodstorm moving into the front as well. Haunter now very low as well. He has to back away from things as the spears come through, and Sheep almost taken down. I think Lod will be able to get this one. Yes, he will. Just about finishes off, and that's the support down. A minute spawn time. LawPro going for Baron.
That was such a weird engage by Roxy. He just went in all by himself. I mean, Sheep was far away. MASH was in the mid lane as well. Couldn't even join in with him. He just went in, took so much damage. And then LawPro just managed to respond back, keep getting multiple targets low, pick up 1 kill, and now the Baron. So I'm not really sure what the idea was from Coast here, but very aggressive engage from Rox, and it really didn't pay off.
Not even remotely.
I mean, he just went in by himself.
Yeah, completely on his own there. Outside of the Baron, that may just be enough to cost Coast the game as MASH is all the way on that bottom side. And actually this is going to be the inhibitor. You have to feel going over towards LawPro. Definitely got the damage to finish that one off, and that's going to mean super minions start to stream into the base. That may be the tipping point here for LawPro. This inner turret can't even be defended by Coast.
Just the bomb coming in from Golden Blue to try and do some poke, but at this point they can just back away. Already picked up inhibitor, Baron of course got a tower, so things now for LawPro quickly turned around. I mean, they lost a few fights to Coast. You're like, okay, Coast are looking very strong now. They've been winning the straight up 5v5 team fights. And then we see missed engage, was a miscommunication from Coast, and LawPro just instantly turned around, win the fight, get the Baron as well. Now all of a sudden, they have the buff and are in the driving seat.
Ton of gold there as well for LawPro to spend. We actually saw the Guardian Angel being bought by Haunter, so if he wasn't hard enough to take down earlier on, he certainly now is becoming a bit of a problem. We also see Phantom Dancer for Graves. A couple of other different items picked up. The Sonya's Hourglass, for example, for low here on Morgana.
Why not? I mean, if you want to go in aggressive with your ulti here, you can use the Hourglass and actually get the second proc, or you can just stay back, peel for Nidalee and Graves in these team fights here. So overall, it's a good item on Morgana. It always helps. And if you can get your second proc of your ult and you get the stun, it's perfect. And that's simply why you want to have this hourglass.
So let's see then if Lawpro can get in and finally crack this middle inhibitor. See if those spears can land. Sheep actually landing the hook onto Heaven Time, but again, not really the target that you want to go for. Sorry, already taking a bit of a beating. It's all going to be about those spears, whether Lord can land them and really force Coast to back away from their defensive positions.
Smart move here by Lawpro, putting the Black Shield onto Hoot Stomp. He goes in, hits the tower a few times and then dashes away. So there's no chance, even if the hook lands or if a cocoon should land onto him, it won't really stop him and he can just back away. So smart enough to get a bit of damage on the tower. Because again, we've talked about it multiple times how the siege for him is not ideal and they have to do it this way.
Oh, bomb coming out from Ziggs, but it's a little bit too late. They're hooking Hunter as well, but this is going to be the second inhib of the game coming down. We've got super minions as well streaming into the Coast base. And Lawpro with only one more inhibitor left to take down. I think they're actually going to go and take the dragon here by the looks of things. That has now spawned into it. The minion wave on this bottom lane is also a little bit further behind. And in fact, just leaving the dragon. Don't really feel like they need that extra gold, it seems.
No, most of the members are already with full items. Unless, of course, Hootstorm wants to sell his boots here. Pick up a damage item more, but for now, he's keeping the boots and also actually just check he only has like 500 gold, so quite a long way till he can actually afford something.
Minefield put down by Golden Glue, trying to keep that minion wave as far back as possible. Really holding on to that one, and I like the idea from Rux here as a spear lands onto Sheep. Rux actually making sure that that top lane is kept as far away from the base as possible. They've landed the binding on towards Sheep. Rux actually diving in there, and Haunter going decently low from this one. Morgana, but not really giving him too much. Hoodstop going to be caught out, finished off as well by Rux, and there's a couple more low HP players as Rux flashes in, gets the counter strike across. Can he get himself any more? Heaven Time is going to die, and that is a double kill for Rux. And Coast showing they're not giving this one up without a fight.
Because they managed to actually push out the lanes before the fight even started, so no super minions down towards the Nexus here, so no towers gone down. Managed to get the fight. There's a nice hook on to Hootstomp here. Taken down, sorry, we're gonna see the replay again here. Fight starts, Ponzo's taking all the damage, he hasn't gotten in though, so no issue for him, and Rock's actually going in and then jumping out, and the hook onto Hootstomp is everything. That's the reason they win this fight here. Rox comes in, picks up the kill, and now they can just chase on. And as soon as they carry is dead, and you have such a strong Jax now, still very healthy, you can just keep chasing, pick up 2 kills. And again, notice the lanes here, both the top and mid lane. No minions even close to the Nexus, so not giving up any Nexus towers.
So, Coast continue to lead the kills. Still behind and still facing a lot of pressure here from Lawpro with the both top and middle inhibits down. Actually, the top one has now respawned in there, so gives them a brief respite on that front. But Lawpro, we've seen time and time again that when it comes to actually fighting, they are not too far ahead in this game for Coast. And if they manage to get 4, maybe an ace, that's actually really bad for Lawpro, because those spawn timers now are long enough for them to be pushing up and doing some serious base damage.
Yeah, and if you look at the champions for Coast, I mean, both Ziggs and Jax do a lot of damage to towers here, especially Jax, who just destroyed Ziggs with his passive late game as well, doing a lot of damage, even the Lich Bane. So if Coast get the chance to get onto the base of Lawpro, they can destroy the towers here. So very scary point for Lawpro. And here's the thing, I mean, Nidalee is a very, very good champion, but when it comes to just a straight-up team fight, she won't do the same damage as a Ziggs. She needs time to land the spears, kite backwards, poke a bit more. And of course, Hootstomp here before, his auto-attack range is very low, so he got very close to the whole fight, and therefore Sheep landed the hook, which of course was the main thing. It wasn't the Nidalee, it was the hook onto Hootstomp.
Well, that was another hook coming out, almost catching onto Lawpro.
Oh, nice spear.
Yeah, and that's the problem there, you know, the counter argument then for Nidalee. If you do land those spears, it's going to mean that someone has to back away. In this scenario, the AD carry, which allows Lawpro to step a little bit further forward. There is the hook, but onto Heaven Time.
Jax as well now.
Yeah, that's where it becomes a little bit of a problem. We've already seen that Rook's not scared of jumping in, possibly to his detriment in that last fight around the Baron area. He was kind of on his own for that one, but also, we know that he's got enough damage, enough survivability now to be right in the middle of those team fights, locking people up, and more importantly, taking them down afterwards. And Lawpro, you can see, playing with a lot more caution now. as it comes to moving towards these inhibs.
And now they're actually waiting for the spears to land before they try and do anything. That's why they stay so far back. Baron is spawning. This is the thing that went wrong for them with the last Baron, where they moved in for the inhibitor, felt strong enough to take a fight, lost it, didn't try and poke beforehand, didn't want to bait out Baron, just went straight in, lost the fight, gave away Baron. This time around, they're doing it now. They're going in, starting the Baron already. They had a better position, they had full control of this side of the jungle, and also landed a few spears, so they can now pick up the Baron unless Coast moves in very, very fast to stop them. Backing away.
Yeah, too early there on the bomb, and actually Lopro will get that one uncontested, really. Coast not quite quick enough.
They need to get back to base.
To get around from that. Yeah, they're going to push straight through the jungle, although they've got no minions moving in there, which doesn't particularly matter since the towers are anyway down in both that mid and top lane, but still need to be careful. We feel that this is their time to shine now, Lopro, but again, we're going to rely on those spears landing for maximum damage, push someone from Coast away.
They still have the Guardian Angel onto Hanzo, so he can really jump into the backline of Coast, just tank up a lot of damage, buy a lot of time for both Grace and Italy to do the damage from the backside here. And some spears still landing from low, hitting them. Oh, sorry, from Lord, of course, not low, he's the support, he's landing binding instead.
Basically work together. They offer you the same thing, is that Inhib did take a lot of damage, but you see the caution on Lopro. There's a scrying orb coming out. It's actually Hudstomp that will move forward. There we go. One more hit will do it, but Hunter may pay for it here. We see Rux diving right in there, kicked away instantly by Lee Sin. Santorin trying to get through as well, but he'll take spear damage. They got that inhibitor finally. Just see one final hit. Hunter almost paid for it, maybe not with his life, but at least possibly with that GA. Meanwhile, the bottom lane is actually pushing up with minions from Coast side.
Seems like the minions will
they're gonna get it,
save it. Can I get it? A few minutes. There it is. Got the tower at least still. Need the inhibitor, of course, but good help from the minions here.
Minions taking that one down. We're approaching the 1 hour point of this game. Lopro definitely in the driving seat. Baron buff on, of course. Taking down that top inhibitor once again. But we see the caution that's really come into their play here. Coast actually pushing out. Going to set up a bit of a trap. They're going to have to be very patient, though, if they want anything from this.
Let's see here. They're expecting Lopro to just push down towards this mid lane and then try and move in behind them. Flank, get onto Italy, get onto Graves and just try and destroy them instantly. And Hoodstop actually keeps changing his item. Oh, spotted by Pink. Tactic is a failure.
Not quite working out as expected.
And that actually means that,
yeah, that could cost them the inhibitor. Haun's already on it. Eventime going to move in, but look at Rux off to the side, getting ready to dive in on top of Lopro. Once those minions go down, they gotta dodge these spears. One from Lord will take a ton of damage into one of these defending champions, but they got to poke back themselves, and with Ziggs always there to throw in those bounty bombs. There we go. Finally, minions going to be taken down. Also actually getting locked up by the cocoon. Black Shield does come around. Ultimate coming out of Ziggs. Not really going to have the damage that they would have wished from that one, but seems to have done enough to force Lopro away a little bit. But then they realize super minions are coming in from the top lane. They have to back away from middle. Lopro sees the opportunity and take down the inhib again.
And Hoodstop actually sold his Bloodthirster as well now and picked up a Blade of the Ruined King simply so he can try and survive the fight against Rux one-on-one here. So he's going full survivability on this Graves here, full one-on-one potential. Selling the Bloodthirster though, you're giving up a lot of burst damage.
Let's see if that affects them here in the coming moments. We're going to have the super minions coming down again. Rux doing exactly what he did before, almost a mirror image of what we saw about 20 minutes ago, I think, by now, where Rux pushes out that top lane to make sure that super minions aren't going to come in, whilst Lopro try for something down in this bottom lane. Let's not forget that ended in a little bit of disaster for them. Ended up losing, I think it was 3 men in that fight, so we'll see if they can hold on. There's the big spear. Mash actually going very low, having to use some of the heal. Now they're going in towards Golden Glue. He's going to get knocked out, uses a Sonya's, but as it comes back up, finished off there. Rux actually picking up a kill, and they're going to keep pushing through. Golden Glue didn't actually die, and now they're going on towards Low. He gets hooked in from that one, flashes away. Can Coast keep pushing? Rux trying to dive in there, didn't quite have the range. They get the the 2 kills, and that's going to keep them in this one and keep them holding on to that tower.
And as you just pointed out before, Rux was up in his top lane, pushing out the minion wave. So again, there's no super minions hitting the Nexus, and they can take the fight, they can keep fighting, and now they can go back, clear the wave, not even gonna lose anything from it. So overall, Coast holding on to both towers once again, but Lowpro, they're not done yet. They really want this low tower.
Really want to take that one. Actually, Hudstomp, that's going to be the man in this scenario, but that might actually cost him. Is Jay going to get popped here?
He's dead.
Do see the spear coming in onto Rook, but Hudstomp going to go down, and he didn't quite get the tower for it either.
So close though, and again, Coast keeping on to the base, but still, it's just a matter of time here. I mean, Coast is so... the fact is, in their own base, they have super minions they need to deal with all the time. Makes it so hard, even if they win fights, to actually push out and get up to the base of Lowpro and then get something. So there are some towers and inhibitors they have to go through before they can get into the Nexus. So they need some time to both travel from their own base and actually finish the game. Next Baron though, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Lowpro had the last 2, if I remember correctly. Let's see if they can get another one. I believe so, yeah. Last 2, same thing, where they landed a spear, went over, took the Baron, yada yada yada.
Push straight through that. Inhib's not going to be too far away from coming up. In fact, the top one has already respawned, so Lowpro going to be waiting out for that. We also see Zephyr picked up 4 Rooks there on Jax as well. He is a bit of a beast at this point. Trinity Force, Blade of the Ruin King, Rando and Zephyr, GA, and that Banshee's Veil as well. Hudstomp got no GA right now. That was popped and then he was killed straight after in that last fight, which makes it a bit more dangerous for Lowpro to be fighting.
And he's actually 1 item behind now because he keeps selling his items and buying different ones. He had a Banshee, sold it, got a Guardian Angel, had the Ghost Blade, sold it as well. Also had the Bloodthirster, sold it, picked up the Blade of the Ruin King instead, so he's actually slightly behind in items at the moment compared to Mash. And we can even say compared to Rox now, who also picked up the Zephyr instead of his boots.
So, longest game of the North American
Challenge
Series. 62 minutes, 38 seconds. It was Lowpro against Frank Fine Gaming.
And they were actually in this situation here just on the side of Coast, because they had lost all inhibitors, they were pushed all the way down to the base, but they had like a very strong late game teamfight come, and they managed to turn around and wow, Mash going very aggressive here.
In man mode there. Look at this Haunter waiting on the backside of them. Coast, I don't think we've seen them in this far pushed up the map in, well, maybe half an hour.
True.
If something like that, but that's because this Baron is coming up. Got themselves vision down, gonna start off the Baron. Obviously Lowpro not gonna let them go with this one, but look how fast that Baron's actually going down there. Already at less than half HP. Heaventime gonna have to be a hero for this one, but he gets hooked in. The Baron goes over to Coast with a dive in there from Haunter as well. Mash going low. He will Valkyrie away from the side, but look at the Savage Hour 6. Heaventime goes down. Low gonna get locked up.
That should be good.
Finish up. Haunter now may even go down as well. They don't really need to care about him, but they're gonna finish him off.
Wow.
Golden Glue gets that one, and it's now all on Lod. 5 men still alive for Coast. With the Baron, they're gonna push through and win.
Finally, Coast could actually push out before the Baron even was spawned. They started, get the Baron, win the team fight like we've seen time and time again. Them winning the team fights, and now they're also gonna get the game.
Whoa. Coon almost connected. Doesn't really matter, I think, at this point. They've got 5 men rushing straight up towards the Nexus. Turret's gonna go down. Nexus football as well. Mash actually going for the kill here right at the end. Not gonna get it. The Nexus goes down, and Coast pick up game number 1 after weathering the storm for what felt like 40 minutes in that game. Coming out there, winning another fight, picking up Baron, pushing through for the win.
They were over 10,000 gold behind. Still managed to win the team fights here. Lowpro, they had the chance to finish out the game, but they could never do it. They never knew exactly what to do. They picked some team fights for no reason. They were just approach, stay back, take a Baron, go in again. But no, they wanted to take the fights when they thought they were so far ahead. And it just backfired completely. Coast picks up the win now. And wow, this is like, again, Lowpro versus Frank Fine Gaming in the semi-final. Opposite way around.
In reverse, that game was a very, very similar scenario as well. Constant pressure, Baron after Baron after Baron. Couldn't quite break through those final defenses, and credit to Coast. You were saying it's just a matter of time from this one. Obviously, you meant it's just a matter of time until Coast push out, win a team fight, take the Baron, and win.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure, of course.
Exactly.
I mean, makes sense, Joe. Everyone knows.
Really, really great win, but of course it is a best of 3, so time here for Lowpro to go back and say, what went right for us in that game and obviously what went wrong.
Time for Coast to do the exact same thing. I mean, you're behind 10,000 gold here in the mid game or just going into the late game point. You can't do that again and expect to win the game. So Coast as well really need to see, okay, what went wrong here early on? They lost so many dragons. The blue buff as well kept going over to LoL Pro. They knew exactly when to group up, when to go for it. And we talked about how they had this mid game power spike with Nidalee and Graves, and they used it really to just take the right fights early on here, take the blue buffs and take the dragons and then get this lead here. But still, Coast, they really need to step up their early mid-game.
Small fact, just 18 seconds shy that game of the longest EU LCS game so far this year. It was definitely a long one, and it's a best of 3, so we've got at least one more game to come in this one. We'll see if LoL Pro can actually get back into things now. Well, for now, we're going to check in with Shox, Demon, and Quickshot to break down the game.
Thank you very much. I'm Eva, Shox supporter, along with Lee Smith and Trevor Quickshot Henry to break down that win from Team Coast. And well, there's a lot to break down because honestly, we didn't see a lot of Team Coast in the beginning of the game. A lot of pressure coming down from the side of LoL Pro.
Oh yes, I do have to give some props to Heaventime. I think his Lee Sin ganks was fantastic. He picked up that early Sightstone, which Deficio pointed out he's done in the Challenger Series previously. And he was omnipresent. He was in every lane multiple times. You could argue the effectiveness of the ganks, but you can't deny the presence and the pressure that he applied. It also helped in shutting down Jax in that top lane.
Yeah, I mean, the top lane, Haunter, dominant performance on Shyvana, way ahead of Jax and Rooks for so long in that game. Also looking towards the mid lane, the spears from Lord were so strong, and you literally didn't even know Golden Glue was in the game at the start of that match.
No, you really didn't. We've seen Shyvana into Jax matchups in the past going quite ghastly, but it looks like Heaventime is able to evolve and perform very well, as his namesake implies.
Well, we're actually going to take a look at a replay to illustrate what we've been talking about, and also what you touched on, the fact that normally if you're a Nidalee versus a Ziggs, you shouldn't be able to put down that kind of pressure and not be as dominant in team fights, but that did happen. So let's pull the first replay up on the screen where we see that LoL Pro gets the upper hand.
Yeah, so in this particular replay, it's very early on. You can actually see that LoL Pro are quite even on gold with Team Coast. So let's roll this clip out. And the most important thing is how Santorin and Mashme are just miles away from the rest of their team. They get completely singled out in a 2v4, which eventually is a 2v5 thanks to teleports. And Coast just weren't on the same page. They were forced to react to a dragon play, they were out of position, and LoL Pro punished them. I also feel that up until 25-30 minutes, Golden Glue's Mega Inferno bombs were not particularly impactful. And if you notice Golden Glue on this full retreat, yes, cooldowns are a thing, but he's offered very little in the way of resistance and damage on the way in and on the way out. So I do feel it took a long time for Golden Glue to scale up.
Yeah, but as happens when you have a Ziggs on your team and a Jax, when the other team does give you time, you can turn the tides by throwing out those Mega Inferno bombs all over the map and grabbing some CS. And as we've seen in a team fight that we're going to bring up on the screen right now, later in the game, it does show that a scale team does a lot better. We're going to take a look at that in a second, but it feels like Coast got going and they were just waiting for that moment to get back in the game.
Yeah, they scaled very well. All the time for Rux on Jax.
Absolutely, and it's like you said about Jax, Rooks on Jax. He had a few misplays, let's face it. He went in 1v5 for some god-awful reason. I don't know what he was thinking now. The rest of his team may be thinking the same thing. He actually got out alive, by the way, in that one. It was only the support that died. But honestly, overall, it's always the classic. You can't let a Jax go late game. He will become a problem. And he was getting on towards the AD carry hood stomp every single time.
Yeah, I also feel like LoL Pro, their composition, as Deficio pointed out in Picks and Bans, was somewhat confusing. Lee Sin and Shyvana wanted to jump in, that's fine. Nidalee wants to throw spears from the back. Morgana's good for peel, but you have this like sort of 2-1-2 line where you've got two people that can go forward, two people that go sit in the back line. And it didn't allow LoL Pro to create opportunities. They hit 35 minutes, they got to Inhibitor, and they couldn't get further because they couldn't deal with Ziggs, Jax, Elise, and Thresh at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually going to take a look at one of those late game team fights where Coast was able to get the upper hand. Let's get that up on the screen, where it was, well, too late for LoL Pro to fight back.
Yeah, so let's roll this clip out. Now, this was the first Baron that Coast were able to secure after a very successful team fight. They group up very effectively after catching Lod, and he's instantly in the fight. And thanks, of course, to Coast having the superior positioning, they just focus down the targets, they stay tightly knit, they end up getting, if memory recalls, 3 kills in this scenario, and then grab the Baron. And this was the moment where Coast began stalling out. They slowed the game down, and they began to dictate the pace.
Yeah, and it's just fantastic played. You know, Santorin as well didn't even die in a 65-minute game or something like that. Crazy stats. However, he also didn't have much of an impact on the start of the game, so that's definitely something he needs to step up. And it's something we saw when he played for Coast back in Europe.
Or stands for to Cloud9 Eclipse, of course. But what do we take of this going into the next game? I kind of feel like for a team like Team Coast, as you said, with players on there that have so much experience, they can take this, they can maybe mediate this with their coach immediately, and if the other team comes out with a comp again that doesn't really glue together, this might be the starting point for Coast.
Personally, I think they dodged a bullet in that game. They should have lost that game. Absolutely. LOLPro should have closed that game out a lot earlier. They waited so many times on those Nidalee Spears to land. If they didn't land, they didn't attack.
Yeah, I would dare say both teams could probably come out of that one with fairly high mental states because of the fact that LOLPro, they had a great early game, they had a great mid game. They even held out in late against a Jax and a Ziggs. But unfortunately, their composition, I feel, let them down. So with proper picks and bans, they may have the tools they need to get over that final hurdle and pick up a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, it is Game 2 between Team Coast and Team LOLPro. We'll be right back.
Let's go. Focus on the game. Let's do this.
Focus. Trying to get in there, they do get heaven time. Low gonna fall as well. Meanwhile, Lon's gonna get locked up there by the cocoon. Have they got the damage to finish off? Yes, they do.
I'm going Graves.
Nice.
Who's that?
Ship. I'm dead. You guys might be able to get him. Nice.
Yo, let's go! Go! Mash going low. He will Valkyrie away from the side, but look at the Savage 06. Heaven time goes down. Low gonna get locked up.
That should be good.
Finish off. Haunts now may even go down as well.